This is Mac OS Ken.
Workers who want to leave work, workers who don't want to go back to work, and a true believer in Apple's ARVR prospects. It is Monday, the 9th of May, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Trade Coffee. Get $30 off your first order plus free shipping at drinktrade.com/macosken. This show is also sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. When's the last time you felt near burnout? For me, it was about a month ago. The two things I did were take a week off and talk to my BetterHelp counselor. The week off really helped, to the point that when I had my next session last week, I kind of thought, I don't need this. Then when we were talking, we hit on so many things that made me so glad that I had a counselor to talk to. She gave me a couple of exercises to try as well, to help deal with stuff that has been kicking the inside of my head for years. Video, phone, text. I appreciate that flexibility. I appreciate the affordability. It is much more affordable than in-person therapy. And once I decided to start again, I appreciate the fact that they had me matched to a therapist in under 48 hours. I am glad to have BetterHelp as a sponsor, and glad to tell you about the special offer they have for you. Right now, macOS Ken listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/macOSKen. BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/macOSKen. If you're worried about burnout or just feel like you could benefit from a bit of help, BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/macOSKen. Apple's only supplier for MacBook Pro has been hit by a bit of social unrest. Bloomberg says workers at a Quanta facility in Shanghai, China, kind of got tired of the factory's closed-loop thing and busted out late last week. China's been super quick and super strict with COVID-related lockdowns over the past few months. That's caused still more kinks in an already kinked-up supply chain for all kinds of companies, including Apple. The manufacturers that have fared best are the ones that have employed a closed-loop approach. That's described by Bloomberg as a system in which workers live and sleep on-site or in nearby accommodation to which they're shuttled. To keep the gears turning for the likes of HP, Dell, Microsoft, and Apple, Quanta's been running a closed loop in Shanghai since the start of April. Last week, 5 weeks proved to be a bit too much, it seems. According to the report, hundreds of employees at the facility clashed with authorities and flooded past isolation barriers after weeks under lockdown. The piece goes on to say tensions at the Quanta factory boiled over after workers tried to return to dormitories after their shifts, according to the Taiwanese media outlet UDN. More than 100 jumped over a gate and ran past the staff without regard for their guidance, the report said. Good news for manufacturing. Operations at the facility returned to normal by Friday morning, according to one worker. At the same time, Bloomberg says it's unclear how long the closed loops can be sustained, given the resources required to feed and house thousands of workers at a time. Also, it kind of seems to be getting to them. Yet another variable. While Quanta workers rebel over having to stay at work, one Apple exec has decided not to go back to it. Apple Insider says Ian Goodfellow, the Cupertino company's director of machine learning, has ended his time with Apple after a 3-year run. Among his reasons, Apple's plans to bring people back to the office. Apple workers at the corporate level are meant to be back at their offices 2 days a week currently. Plans are for that to ramp up to 3 days a week by Monday, the 23rd of May. and Mr. Goodfellow is not down with it. The piece on his departure cites a Twitter post from Zoe Schiffer of The Verge. According to that, Ian Goodfellow, Apple's director of machine learning, is leaving the company due to its return-to-work policy. In a note to staff, he said, "I believe strongly that more flexibility would have been the best policy for my team." He was likely the company's most cited machine learning expert, according to Schiffer. While he may be the highest-profile Apple employee displeased with Apple's back-to-work at-work plan, the jolly good fellow is far from the only one. Engadget ran a report last week on an open letter published by Apple office workers. Like Goodfellow, they too cite inflexibility in Apple's plans as a sticking point. Quoting the letter to Apple Corporate, "You have characterized the decision for the hybrid working pilot as being about combining the need to commune in person and the value of flexible work. But in reality, it does not recognize flexible work and is only driven by fear. Fear of the future of work, fear of worker autonomy, fear of losing control." This is followed by accusations of hypocrisy. Quoting the letter again, "We tell all of our customers how great our products are for remote work, yet we ourselves cannot use them to work remotely. How can we expect our customers to take that seriously? How can we understand what problems of remote work need solving in our products if we don't live it?" Perhaps the most stinging rebuke, the employees seem to argue that the physical return to work is potentially discriminatory. The letter argues that the move will lead to a younger, whiter, more male-dominated, more neuronormative, more able-bodied workforce. No word on a response from Apple. Coming soon to some recent BMWs, a feature they have had for years. Huh? According to a piece from Engadget, due to the ongoing chip shortage, BMW is temporarily shipping some vehicles without support for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, according to a report from Automotive News Europe. According to a statement the company gave to that outlet, BMW has changed suppliers and begun using a chip that does not fully support Android Auto or CarPlay. As a result, the company continued in its statement, affected vehicles will receive an over-the-air software update by the end of June at the latest. So they're shipping with a chip that does not support CarPlay, but will by the end of next month without anything having to be physically replaced. Sometimes the future is crazy in a good way. You know, we may have to give Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani a new designation where Apple is concerned. For his belief in Apple's prospects in a device or devices dedicated to augmented reality and virtual reality, we may need to dub him a true believer. Apple 3.0 posted part of a note from the analyst wherein he named whatever Apple does in AR and VR as an underappreciated growth vector for Apple stock. Quoting his note, Apple has been working on ARVR solutions for the last 4+ years, and we expect the hype into a formal launch in late 2022 to serve as a catalyst for the stock price. Apple is rarely first to market with a product, he continues, but they almost always release a product that defines the category. We expect a similar dynamic in AR/VR, as companies like Meta are already selling headsets, but we think the market remains in its infancy, and there is still plenty of time for Apple to release a product. See? True believer. Conservatively, if Apple's AR/VR offering is as big a hit as Apple Watch, he thinks Apple's window to the metaverse could add about $18 billion to sales. If it's an AirPod-sized hit, it could contribute as much as $38 billion in sales, in AdRock's estimation. Daryanani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $210. More news in a moment, but first a word from Trade Coffee. My adventures in coffee have taken a turn. At the various stores I go to, I've settled on a few dark roasts that I like. The current crop of medium roasts has left me flat, though, at least in the stores I know. Trade to the rescue. I've told you before how they work. You answer questions about your taste in coffee, how you make it, stuff like that. And they start sending you coffee from small roasters across the U.S. That is not set in stone, though. I started off with dark roasts, and now I'm looking for a medium. So I've gone into my trade coffee profile and changed my settings. And now I am looking forward to a bag of Familia Peixoto from Chandler, Arizona. Rich flavors of berries, chocolate, and nuts identify it as a high-quality Brazil with a sweet, clean, and rich flavor profile. This coffee pleases just about everyone. This is from a family that has been doing the coffee thing since the turn of the 19th century. One that I would never have found without trade. See what they can find for you. Right now, Trade is offering new subscribers a total of $30 off your first order plus free shipping when you go to drinktrade.com/macOSKen. That is more than 40 cups of coffee for free. Get started by taking their quiz at drinktrade.com/macOSKen and let Trade find you a coffee you'll love. That's drinktrade.com/macOSKen for $30 off. News of another special edition offering from Beats. Mac Rumors has word of a new set of Powerbeats Pro designed by English-Iranian artist Paria Farzaneh. They're fine. Mac Rumors describes them as having a special and funky yellow and dark purple pattern. To me, they look like digital camouflage, but in yellow and dark purple instead of the usual earth tones. If it sounds like I'm being dismissive, I'm not. They're really not unattractive. Plus, if you like her work, the piece says the stoppers come in a unique box with special stickers. Now, how much would you pay? Well, they're $250, so that's how much you'd pay. They're available exclusively through the website Sense, S-S-E-N-S-E, Sense, I guess. If you're curious about the design language of the mind-bending Apple TV Plus series Severance, there is an article you should check out in the New York Times. The paper of record had a chat with the show's prop master, Catherine Miller. What inspired their computers? How did those lucite pictures come to be? Where can you get those blue finger traps? Spoiler, you can't. Find out why and where they got theirs in the New York Times. I'll have a link to that article in this story on macOSKen.com. Clear more space in Apple's trophy case. iMore says the Apple TV Plus series The Oprah Conversation has won a GLAAD Media Award. According to the piece, those awards recognize and honor media for their fair, accurate, and inclusive representations of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community and the issues that affect their lives. The piece says Apple TV Plus and the show earned the award for the episode featuring Elliot Page in his first on-camera interview after disclosing that he is transgender, describing his life struggles and his message for trans youth. News around Apple TV Plus that is disappointing on some level and nowhere near surprising. Variety says the Antoine Fuqua-directed film Emancipation has almost definitely been pushed into 2023. The problem, 2 words, Will Smith. 3 more words, slapping Chris Rock. According to Variety, the movie would have been the first release for Smith following his assault on comedian Chris Rock during the 94th Oscars. As a result, he was banned from attending the Oscars and other Academy-related events for 10 years. While no official date had been set for the film, Variety says it was expected to be the streamer's next potential awards project this year after winning Best Picture for Coda. There is talk that the film's director is still deep in post-production and the film might not have been ready for release this year anyway. Okay, that might be true. Then again, it might be cover for waffling around the release. While some inside Apple are said to still be trying to salvage a late 2022 release, one insider says it's the unspoken truth that the film will not be out this year. Apple Original Films offered no comment for the Variety report. And finally today, a relatively recent piece of Apple history has a date with the Wrecking Ball. The Mac Observer says the building that holds Apple's first international store is set for demolition. Plans are for Tokyo's Sayagusa building, home to Apple Ginza, to be taken down by the end of this year. Originally built in 1967, TMO cites a report from Japan Property Central that says the 8-story building is set to be demolished to make way for a 10-story building. Amazingly, that will only net them another 600 square feet. The building that stands there now is said to have 42,400 square feet. The new one will have 43,000 square feet, but it'll also have that new building smell. No word on whether Apple will relocate the store. TMO points out that the Ginza district is Japan's most famous area for upscale shopping. At the same time, Apple does have 4 other stores serving Tokyo. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Trade Coffee. Get $30 off your first order plus free shipping at drinktrade.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.